Day 10. Canes still without a permanent GM. Day 10. Which means one of my bold predictions from Friday's show not coming true, because I said they'd have a GM by showtime today, as of about a minute ago. That's a buzzer. But we're learning more and more and more about this search, right? More and more about the why. Why is it taking so long? Why did they let Don Waddell leave and obviously not have a very obvious plan for what they were going to do next? If the plan was Eric Tulsky, the interim GM, why is he still the interim GM? If the plan was, we can let Don Waddell walk, we know we'll be the hottest ticket in town, why haven't they cashed in one of those tickets? Could it be Tom Dundon, the owner, a little bit of a meddler? One of those owners that wants his fingers in every piece of the operation? Could it be that, as attractive as the Canes would seem to be as a GM job, with a strong core of young players that'll grow together, with a coach who's locked up for 5 more years on his contract and is pretty well accepted as one of the best coaches in the league, with a community that buys in, a hockey town, if you will. Mild climate. I don't know. Some hockey people probably want the cold, but hey, I look for the mild climate.
I think some people enjoy it around here this time during those parts of the year.
I think it's a little nice to tailgate in a t-shirt, walk inside, throw the sweater on. So why could it be that Tom Dundon is a little bit of a meddler and that's scaring some player or some GMs away? Elliot Friedman on his 32 Thoughts podcast for Sportsnet had this to say about the Canes GM job.
I heard this from someone who did not interview, but knows a couple people who did. And that is that the Hurricanes are making sure everyone's eyes are wide open about how this is all going to work. And that is that whoever gets this job is going to be the manager, but they're not going to have the power. That this job is going to be as a facilitator, somebody who collects information and brings it to the other members of the front office, well, including Tom Dundon, who obviously has a huge say. Yeah. But Eric Tulsky, Darren York, whoever's going to fulfill, Aaron Schwartz, whoever's going to be part of that front office. But the new GM hire is not going to have the final say. And what this person told me is that that some people have kind of backed away from the process because of this, that this is not going to be a traditional job.
Interesting. A GM, how about this is essentially how I'm going to boil that down from Elliot Friedman. This is the pitch to be the Canes GM. We want you to be the Canes GM with none of the power that normally comes with the GM job, and everyone is still going to attribute all of the decisions to you, because there's no way the casual public fan is going to know the inner workings of the Canes. So you make a bad signing, you make a bad draft pick, everyone's going to go boo you. But if you ever want to actually make a signing or a draft pick, you have to convince this group of people, which includes the owner and the assistant GM and probably Rod and a bunch of others, to believe what you want to believe. Sound good? Actually, I think I'll stay where I'm going to stay.
It's like the Knights Council.
Yeah, like the King Arthur's Round Table. You can be Sir Scouts-a-lot. If the meddling of the owner limits the pool of GM candidates for a team that wasn't on a heater, that hadn't made the postseason a bunch of years in a row, that hadn't won postseason series a bunch of years in a row, it would be seen as catastrophic. The only difference between an owner who needs to get out of the way, who needs to move on, who needs to not be so involved, who needs to let the hockey people do the hockey thing, is winning. The difference between Jerry Jones and he just needs to let the football people do the football stuff and maybe like a Tom Dundon is the fact that the Canes happen to be winning right now. If there was a situation where something being told to GMs ahead of their interview or during the interview process by the say Panthers, by David Tepper, if he was telling something to the GMs ahead of the hiring process that limited the pool of candidates, it'd be a laughingstock. The message boards would light up. We'd make a YouTube video about it. The comments would light up. But because it's the Canes, it's a not traditional structure. Because it's the Canes, it's a Knights of the Round Table. It's not a too many cooks in the kitchen. It's not a all bosses, no followers. It's not that. It's the round table. GM is just a guy that makes calls and brings info to the group to decide. Sounds to me like an assistant. Get so-and-so on the phone. We'd like to talk to them. Mm-hmm. That's what the GM's job is. Hey, get someone from Vancouver on the line. I want to see if they want Natchez. And then, okay, let me go into my personal Rolodex, get him on the phone. Hey, you're on speaker with the group. That's an assistant. That's an office manager. I think this will limit the quality of GM that you can realistically expect to hire. Right? I say this often. Coaches, GMs, certain positions, the reason you even end up in that industry, the reason you even end up in that like trying to play that role for a professional sports organization is because you have a bit of that like my way or the highway attitude. Not many people end up potential GMs going, I don't know, what do you think? But you end up a potential GM by saying, here's what I think, here's why it's going to work, let's do it. You're decisive. Head coaches, GMs, they're control freaks. They're that I don't know, metaphorical, goofy-sounding word, alpha. I think if that is the structure, if the structure is the GM is just one equal part of the pizza pie of decision-making, that will limit the quality of GM that wants to take that job. The flip side would be, if that is truly the role's kind of design, if that is truly how you expect to use a GM, it probably means you don't need a great GM. You don't need somebody that's right on 70% of their decisions because they don't get to make decisions. You need to find like a great teammate who plays their role.
I think that's the reason why Eric Tulsky is the favorite, because he already understands the process. He's been part of it. Like now he has to be, okay, you're the voice that's calling other teams and might be doing the negotiating. Okay, what are you offering? This is what we are willing to offer. Like he could be that voice now, but I think that's the reason why Tulsky is the favorite.
Or
already gets it.
You could even keep his role almost the same, just give him a better title, probably a little bit more cash. You could keep him as the numbers savant.
Mm-hmm.
Your assistant GM can be the social butterfly that actually makes the calls.
The
right?
Darren Gork in this situation?
Exactly. You can find, if they are truly going by this like running back by committee, general manager by committee, right? If Eric Tulsky's the third down back, you can make him the GM and keep him catching passes on third down, and then you just need to bring in an early down bruiser, which would be the Don Waddell role of having the deep Rolodex, making the calls, knowing the ins and outs of the social dynamics of the league, and being able to handle those things. Maybe that's how they do it. I just, to stay with the running back by committee analogy, I don't think that's how you end up with Christian McCaffrey.
No.
I don't think that's how you end up with a 3-down workhorse best running back in the league. Not to say you don't have a good running game. It's just to say you're not going to get the best quality candidate.